Hi, my name is Monique, and I run the blog Eat the Good of the Land at eatthegood.com. And I wanted to make this video to give you guys a testimony about who I am and what this blog is about. I initially started writing something out, but then it turned out to be this huge, 3-page thing, and I was like, who's gonna read all that? So I'm making you guys this video instead. I know this blog is a long time coming, but my hopes is that it will be enjoyed by people from all walks of life. So, a little bit about me, since I thought you might want to know the face behind the blog. I was raised in this pseudo-Catholic home where no one was really practicing. I lived with my mom and my grandma until my mom passed away in 2006, and they were not really believers in the Lord, even though they sent me to Catholic school and all that stuff. And from a very early age, I was force-fed the typical American diet, the potatoes, the mac and cheese, the deep fried chicken, and the pork chops, and the frozen stuff, and my family didn't know any better, but I became obese from the age of 4, and I was bullied all the time, all the way through high school. I was picked on and bullied and made fun of, and I became very depressed and suicidal at a young age. I planned to kill myself several times. I didn't have that many friends, and it was really difficult for me, and I hated myself. I hated my body. I didn't know how to take care of myself, and my family kind of forced me to stay home and not do anything, not have any friends. And so I was very inactive, and most of my friends were on the computer, on the internet, and I would write little blogs on LiveJournal, if anyone remembers that, and chat with people on AIM, and I started to question my sexuality, question why I was here, and I would self-mutilate. I started self-mutilating by the time I was 11, I think. And even when my family found out, they really didn't care that much. So, fast forward to the time that I was in high school, I was getting worse, and I had abandoned the idea of believing in God or anything like that. And I became an atheist. I started to practice Wicca for some time, and I didn't know what I wanted, but I just knew that the condition of my heart was getting worse, and I hated myself and my physical appearance, and I hated my soul more and more with each passing day. Until I became a junior in high school, I met this girl. Her name was Vanessa. She just transferred to my high school, and she was the first person to preach the full gospel to me about Jesus. And I know what you're thinking. This is a food blog, a lifestyle blog, fashion blog, but this is so much more than just a physical journey and a weight loss journey for me that I want to share with you guys. It's also a journey about, my faith and how I came to be who I am now. So coming back to that, there's a reason why I'm telling you all of this. Coming back to that, I still rejected the idea of God, even after this girl befriended me, and she became one of my best friends, and my best friend to this day. But at the time I didn't know that. And that year, 2006, my mom passed away on my living room couch from breast cancer. And by that time I had already been rejected by boys, and still picked on by people and made fun of, and it was a struggle for me. And after my mom died, I decided that I was going to accept Jesus Christ into my life, and I did, but it didn't really work out too well. My grandma was very against the idea of me not being Catholic and going to a Christian church, so she wouldn't let me go, and it was very manipulative. And again, I was in the house, I was putting on more weight, so I fell into an even deeper depression for that reason. Not only for that reason, but that was one of the biggest reasons. And I think another 3 years went by, something like that, and I was already in college, going to Columbia College, Chicago for photography, and it impaired my ability to do work there because I was never allowed to go out. She was very manipulative. Even though I was already 18, she had this grip on me, and I continued to just, be fat and inactive and depressed and not having friends. And I came to this breaking point in 2009 where I was just like, I gotta do something about this, because I was on the verge of suicide again, self-mutilation again. And something just clicked. I started praying in my room and getting on my knees and asking God to please help me. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew that I wanted God, because there had to be something more than this, and God revealed to me that he wanted me to move out, and he made a way for me to move in with this girl, my friend Vanessa, and her family, who was just passionate for God, And so I moved out. I ran away. I packed up my things over the course of 2 weeks, and I ran away overnight. And I ran away, and I had no money. I had no plan. I was, I just finished my sophomore year in college, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I had to make a change. Rather, I had to let God change me from the inside all the way to the outside. And so once I moved out and I started attending church, I got delivered of depression and being suicidal and these panic attacks that I had been having for a year and a half prior that were severe and debilitating, and they were gone when people prayed for me. So I was able to overcome that, and just by eating different food and being active, I got a bike. I started walking and riding my bike everywhere, finally learning where everything was in my city, getting around, hanging out with people, and making all these friends at church. The weight started to fall off, and I wasn't even really trying. It was just me eating the food that Vanessa's family would cook, and me being active and just making generally smarter choices in everything I was doing. And I was losing weight, but I was still in the overweight range, but I wasn't really worried about it too much. I still had my moments of low self-esteem. And I ended up moving into this apartment with like 8 or 9 other women from the church, and it was a blast, and I was there for a year and a half, and it was great. And but I still wasn't making much headway in transforming my body, which was very important to me. I really wanted to be healthy and be in better shape, but I didn't really know the way to do that. So it was guesswork, And we all ended up having to move out of that apartment, and I ended up having to move back in with my grandmother, this abusive person that, just made it hard for me to live. And I had to move back in, and I gained a bunch of weight back from slipping back into, depression, really fighting, like seriously fighting. And I had other things going on in my life at the time that were unrelated to my grandmother that made things really hard for me, and it was a struggle. And then my grandma kicked me out. I moved in with Vanessa and her her new husband at the time. That was 2011. And again, the weight started falling off as soon as I was out of that environment with my grandmother. And not long after, I started dating the man that would end up being my husband, Christopher. And as we set to be married June 2nd, 2012, and as we neared that date, I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have the body that I want for this wedding. I always imagined myself, looking beautiful at my wedding. Not to say that you can't be beautiful when you're overweight, but I had very low self-esteem. And I just didn't picture myself looking that way. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't picture myself getting married at all. I didn't think anyone would ever love me before I knew Jesus. And so all of this happened, these miraculous things happened. I was going to have my own place, all these things. So I wanted, to look different. And so then I got really serious. And with some serious research and the help of my fiance at the time, I drastically lost a ton of weight. And people were shocked by how much weight I really lost. And it was not the unhealthy way. I did it the right way, on budget, because let me tell you, right before the wedding, drastic things happened, tragic things happened. We lost both our jobs, and we were just making it by little, still looking for work. And so we didn't have a lot of money to spend on all these awesome, healthy superfoods you see everywhere. We didn't, but I went out and we just bought the simple stuff and found a way to make it taste good without it being unhealthy. And I lost like 20 more pounds or something just in those 2 months before the wedding. And I hadn't gained it back. And after the wedding, I continued on this weight loss journey. And I still wanted to get in better shape, so I kept going. But worse events happened, and we almost became homeless, and we ended up having to move in with my grandmother. And we had nothing. Like, seriously, we had nothing. And we had to sell our furniture or throw it away, sell everything before we moved back in with my grandma. It was really bad. We were almost on the street for like one night. And by God's grace, you know, he made sure that we were okay. But we came to my grandmother's house, and Chris got a job right away. I still could not find a job. And he was working part-time minimum wage, you know, so it wasn't a lot. So there were times when we had like $20 to spend on food for the week. But I still made a way to learn how to stretch it and eat healthy still during that time. And I would work out at home. I didn't have Now, when I say that the number on the scale doesn't mean much, I'm saying it's because muscle is more dense than fat. Not that it weighs more than fat, but you can be very muscular and lean at a higher weight than someone who is maybe a lower weight and is a little bit more fluffy, you know. So I'm not perfect. And for the sake of modesty, on my blog or my Instagram, you will never see pictures of my bare abs or my almost naked butt. Those things are, I believe, for my husband to only see. But if you can't tell that I've lost weight in my before and after pictures with my clothes on, then I don't know what to tell you. But I say all this to say that the number means very little, but what is really important is taking care of your body. It's taking care of the temple that God has given you as a gift. And I believe very strongly in that. You know, there's a scripture that says, you know, physical training is of some value, but the spiritual training is of more value. And I believe that too. And I believe there's a place for everything. Because if your character is not right, but you are training and working out and trying to get fit just to look like somebody, it's not going to work. You need to have a balance of both. So I started this blog to teach you guys, or help you guys have a balance of, you know, having the right character, you know, and the pretty personality to go with the outside. And I also want to encourage you guys to lead a healthy lifestyle because you love your body, not because you hate it, and to take care of the gift God has given you. And I also want to help you guys learn how to cook and eat things that taste good on a budget when you don't have a lot to work with. And I want to help you guys do that because not everybody has a lot of money to spend on, you know, all this food. And I don't even eat 100% organic or anything. I believe it's important, and I try. And we do have more money now than we did before. We moved out and we got our own place in August of 2013. And so, you know, we're able to spend a little more on food, but I still stick to these frugal principles of saving and getting things for the best deal I possibly can. So I want to help you guys do that as well and show you how to stretch things, make things last. And I'm not vegan 100%, I'm not 100% paleo, raw, or vegetarian. I choose things from each of those ways of eating that I like, and I kind of wing it from there. You know, I don't believe in the label because there's good things about each of those diets, or rather, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, but for the sake of helping you understand the individual things, there's different ways of eating, and I don't subscribe to just one, so don't get on me for that. This is to help you become healthy. Now, I've had a lot of influence in a lot of my friends' lives who wanted to lose weight, and I've had countless women come to me and ask me, how did you do it? Because they were all my friends for all these years, and they saw me drop the weight, and many of them have followed what I've told them to do and lost a significant amount of weight. Including my sister, who will be featured on this blog. She was very overweight, and she followed my eating plan and did moderate exercise and lost a substantial amount of weight. So at the urging of her and my husband, to share my advice of how to do this when you are broke and how to take care of yourself and not hate yourself, the urging of them, pressing me to do this for a long time, I want to make this blog to help you guys, and I want your feedback. And if you want to know any more about me, or my testimony or anything, any questions, please feel free to ask, to contact me, to add me on any of my social media buttons that you see on my blog, my Instagram, my Facebook, whatever you want. So please, don't be a stranger. I am here for you if you have questions, and I hope that you will enjoy the content that is coming soon on my blog. I hope you enjoy everything, and I guess that's it. God bless you guys.